Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. The big dramatic news today is the surprise resignation of Jitin Ram Manjhi as Chief Minister of Bihar. Literally minutes before he was due to face a vote of confidence, Manjhi decided to resign. However, he claimed that 140 MLAs were ready to support him, including 50 from the JDU. But because they face alleged threats, he chose to resign rather than risk violence and worse. Manjhi has also recommended dissolution of the assembly, which the governor has not agreed to. There are now critical questions that need to be answered. Is Manjhi speaking the truth, or did he capitulate? Has he embarrassed the BJP who are ready to support him, or paradoxically, has he saved the BJP from the embarrassment of supporting him? Was the governor right to refuse the dissolution, or was he confident that Nitish Kumar actually does have 130 MLAs and therefore a right to be sworn in? And beyond all of that, what does the future look like? Are we heading towards early elections, and will Bihar politics now be sharply divided between Nitish Kumar and Narendra Modi? Those are the questions we shall seek to answer over the next 1 hour in this special program.
जुगाड़, ये जुगाड़ टेक्नोलॉजी से सरकार बनाना चाहते थे, जुगाड़ टेक्नोलॉजी से।
जो स्वच्छ वातावरण है पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम का, वो विधानसभा में नहीं रह पाए।
घोड़ा मैदान में जाने के पहले बैठ गया।
जान से मारने, तंग तबाह करने के साथ साथ उनकी सदस्यता समाप्त करने के संबंध में भी थ्रेटनिंग दिया जाता रहा।
और अब खिसियानी बिल्ली खंभा नोचे।
With me for this special discussion on today's drama in Bihar are JDU Rajya Sabha MP Pavan Verma, BJP National Spokesperson Sambit Patra, one of Bihar's foremost political analysts Saibal Gupta, the well-known senior journalist Nalini Singh, the political editor of The Hindu Varghese George, and the well-known senior journalist and commentator Kumar Ketkar. Let's start with Jitin Ram Manjhi's surprise resignation. Varghese George, do you accept that he resigned because his MLAs were facing threats and he wanted to save them from violence and possibly something worse? Do you accept that?
Not in the least. I think Jitin Ram Manjhi was trying or he was hoping that the BJP would be doing much more than offering him a passive support in the form of a vote on the floor of the House. So I think the BJP could not possibly keep its part of the deal when it all began a couple of months ago when Jitin Ram Manjhi gave The Hindu an interview where he challenged Nitish Kumar publicly. From that day on, I think the BJP perhaps did not keep its part of the bargain with Jitin Ram Manjhi, and then he realized that he alone cannot be taking on Nitish Kumar, who obviously and clearly had the edge in terms of numbers and in terms of support among the JDU MLAs. So I think he was already punching above his weight, and he had no other option but to quit, either in the form by way of resignation before the floor test or through a floor test today.
Let's for a moment, Sambit Patra, concentrate on Manjhi's claim that his supporting MLAs faced threats and there could have been violence. The majority of the MLAs that allegedly support Manjhi actually come from your party. What are these threats they face, and who from?
No, I would not take it that way. I believe he was speaking for the party members of his own party, those who would be supporting him.
There are not very many. How many are there?
No, the others, we had extended the support of our 87 MLAs that we have in the House. And as far as BJP is concerned, our stand has been extremely clear right from the very beginning. It is a family feud, family being the JDU.
But come to this threat.
No, as far as threat is concerned, it is for Mr. Jitin Ram Manjhi to explain. It's not for me to answer. And we face threat or not is a separate issue.
Let me ask you that. Do your MLAs face any threat of violence because they have committed to support Manjhi?
No, it is an important issue over here in the sense that if 140 members were to support Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi, there would be others apart from 87 MLAs. Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi would be speaking for those other MLAs. As far as MLAs are concerned, I'm not aware of the fact whether they face threat or they do not face threat.
Okay.
We stood rock solid with Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi, who is a Mahadalit leader, and our stand was absolutely clear. We do not want to see a Mahadalit being harassed.
Let me bring in Pavan Verma, because the innuendo or the implication or the suggestion, take it as whichever one you want, is that in fact it's the JDU MLAs that are your colleagues who were perhaps threatening Mr. Manjhi. Whether they were threatening his own small handful of former JDU MLAs who support him, or whether they were also threatening BJP ones, I don't know. But are your MLAs guilty of threatening Mr. Manjhi's supporters?
Karan, that is absolute and pure fantasy. If anything, it was our MLAs who were receiving all kinds of offers of ministerships, BJP tickets, money. We caught one of them acting on behest of the BJP and Mr. Manjhi red-handed. The Chief Minister himself, on a public platform, said, "Come to my side, I will offer you ministerships." So all of this game was going on from the BJP Jitan Manjhi camp. I don't believe any of our MLAs even remotely threatened anybody on the other side, and there was no reason to.
Let me then bring you in, Kumar Ketkar, on this point about MLAs being threatened. You've heard Sambit Patra make it absolutely clear that BJP MLAs supporting Manjhi were not threatened. He says if there are threats, it's from those others who support Manjhi. We don't know who those others are, but does this therefore suggest to you that Manjhi has concocted this story of a threat, that in fact there is no basis for it, leave aside proof? Is that the implication?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this violence was a bogey when he realized that he cannot establish his majority. And let us not forget the backdrop of this entire Bihar episode and the bizarre politics that BJP played was of AAP's sensational victory in Delhi. So these self-styled Romels and Chanakyas of BJP, Mr. Amit Shah and others thought that after having lost Delhi so miserably, let us have Bihar in our pocket even before the elections. And therefore they created all this bizarre scenario and finally ended up with an egg on the face.
But
and
on
that's
this,
why they are
on this specific question of threats,
violence.
on the specific question of threats, you
That's
agree
what I'm
with
saying,
everyone,
the threat,
it's rubbish.
The so-called threat and the fear of violence is a bogey created to hide complete humiliation they would have suffered in the assembly.
Now, Saibal Gupta, Mr. Manjhi also claims that 140 MLAs are supporting him, and he also suggested that 50 of that 140 actually come from the JDU, which would mean, if it's true, that those are people who are going to break ranks with Nitish Kumar to support Manjhi. Do you, as an independent observer, accept this claim?
I don't think so. I mean, in the way things have emerged in the last couple of weeks, the possibility of Mr. Manjhi having 60 supporters within JDU is almost preposterous. And suppose even if it is true, and even if there was a threat to them, they had completely the state machinery under their command. There was some sort of a support from the central government. So I don't think there was any possibility of any law and order problem in case Manjhi wanted to display all the 60 MLAs before the election, before the assembly. So I don't think he is trying some sort of a techno-managerial type of argument to retreat from his earlier position, and in the process I think he has embarrassed the BJP to a great extent.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you and put this to you? Before we go on to talk about whether he's embarrassed the BJP or not, and I will come to that in a moment, but are you therefore categorically saying to me you don't believe 140 MLAs were supporting him, and you don't believe 50 of that 140 were JDU? Are you categorically saying to you that is a false claim?
Yes, I don't think, I don't think it was, there was such a huge support. Maybe they could have taken one or two or 5 MLAs, but such a huge number behind Manjhi was not possible. There was some sort of a groundswell of opinion in favor of Nitish Kumar.
Okay.
And I think the most of the MLAs who rallied behind Nitish Kumar, primarily because I think the appeal of Nitish Kumar has increased in recent period.
Okay.
In a massive, and especially
absolutely.
in the backdrop of BJP
I'll come to Nitish's appeal in a moment's time. Let's take these issues one by one. Let's not collapse them all together. Does this then suggest to you, Nalini Singh, that in fact Nitin Ram Manjhi capitulated?
You know, you are asking everybody about a threat, a kind of, was there a threat? Now, without exaggerating or without making a huge thing of it, metaphorically, there would be some knives out. And be warned, what happens politically in Bihar today could happen in the rest of the country tomorrow, could happen at the center.
What about my question?
I'll tell you, no, let me get Muhammad Shahabuddin, who is close to RJD in Siwan. I think he's in jail, but his wife fought on the RJD ticket. He had said, do not vote for Nitish Kumar under any circumstances. He got the Muslim MLAs in the JDU this message. Pappu Yadav, who is one of the 4 RJD MPs in the centre, in Parliament, actually went round. So I'm saying that
before we get lost in
both
detail,
of them
are you therefore saying that unlike everyone else, you do believe there was a threat?
I would say that their knives were out. Now, whether they would have succeeded or not, and certainly I agree with Shaibal that it was not to the extent of getting 50 or 60. But you know, this creates a perception.
Let's not get lost in detail. Let's stick to the big picture. Therefore, you're saying, first of all, that the knives are out, which suggests there is a sort of threat, but not as big as Mr. Manjhi wants it to be. Does this then mean that Mr. Manjhi capitulated, or did he have good reason for not facing a floor test?
Knives are out metaphorically, because both of them have had long stints in jail. But I would say that has Jitan Ram Manjhi capitulated? I think so. I think he realized that after putting up this show and consolidating his face amongst the Mahadalits, where there isn't another leader of, there hasn't really been a leader. Nitish Kumar is the one who consolidated them. Okay. So Manjhi emerged, he did that, and he has capitulated.
But the interesting thing is, the knives are out. They want sufficient knives out to constitute the sort of threat Manjhi claimed. Nonetheless, therefore, he capitulated.
It was a night of long knives, though. One of these nights.
All right. There's so many metaphors here that I'm not sure in which direction they're pointing. It's getting a little confusing. Let's come and concentrate first, Varghese George, on the BJP. 24 hours ago, the BJP guaranteed that they would support Nitin Ram Manjhi on the floor of the House if there was a floor test. 24 hours later, Nitin Ram Manjhi, instead of taking that floor test, resigned. Did he let down the BJP? Has he embarrassed them because he got them to commit support and then chickened out himself?
Is it a question to me?
I see it a little differently. I think if you go back to...
Go on, carry on answering, Varghese.
If you go back to a couple of months, where did Jitan Ram Manjhi acquire this kind of a valor to take on none other than Nitish Kumar? That courage came to Mr. Manjhi because of the tacit understanding that he had reached with the BJP, that the BJP would come to his rescue. So BJP coming to Mr. Manjhi's rescue would not merely be limited to giving the 87 MLAs vote on the floor of the House. Because what is the biggest inducement that Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi can offer to the MLAs who are with Nitish Kumar? Not a ministerial post which would not last more than another 3-4 months. The big inducement that Mr. Manjhi could offer to them was the offer of a BJP nomination in the forthcoming assembly election, which could not have been offered by Mr. Manjhi alone, unless the BJP was willing to get into the game wholly and get their hands dirty in the game by poaching on the JDU MLAs who are right now with JDU. That game would not, the Manjhi's game would not have gone anywhere. The BJP chickened out because the BJP, after the Delhi defeat, realized.
Okay, let me ask the opposite to you, Sambit Patra. I asked Varghese George whether there was a sense in which Mr. Manjhi, by chickening out, to use that euphemism or that colloquialism, had let the BJP down. But you've heard Varghese George suggest that actually it's the BJP that let Mr. Manjhi down. Not only did they give him a guarantee of their own MLAs supporting him, which yesterday you confirmed, but you also had given him hope that you would lure, by enticement or whatever method, others to make up the numbers. That you were unable to do. So did you in fact lead him up the garden path only to slam the door on his face?
Karan, because of a very poor sound quality, I'm unable to make out the complete question, but nonetheless, I can almost understand what you want from me. Let me answer it this way. I mean, I've been hearing most of the panel, and most of them are saying as if the script has been written by Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party was the reason as to why we saw a courageous Mr. Jiten Ram Manjhi. Our take has been very simple right from the very beginning. We are a bystander. We are the opposition in Bihar, and as a political opposition, we are keeping an eye on whatever politically is happening in the assembly and outside of Bihar, and that's our duty, that's our responsibility to keep an eye there. Whatever was happening within the family of the Janata Dal Parivar. The Janata Dal was fighting amongst each other. The knives were drawn, as Nalini was saying, the knives were drawn within the family. Bharatiya Janata Party's only stand was we do not want to see Mr. Jiten Ram Manjhi not as a person, but because he belongs to the Mahadalit community, to whom in fact the appointment letter was given by none other than Nitish Kumar, and Nitish Kumar and his party was tom-toying him that look, we have made a Mahadalit chief minister, and within a short span of time Mr. Nitish Kumar wants him out. Our stand was we stood against the harassment of the Mahadalit community. Had we to lure or not, everyone in the panel knows we were not into any of this luring business.
Let me bring in Pawan Verma, who's nodding his head in visible disagreement with what you're saying. Pawan Verma, it's your leader Nitish Kumar who insists that this is a script that's been written by the BJP. Are you therefore also suggesting that Jiten Ram Manjhi has been used by the BJP and now, when in fact the last act of the play had to happen, the BJP decided it didn't suit their purposes, and so they, rather than support him, forced him to resign before the vote happened?
I think actually Karan, Mr. Manjhi must be introspecting on the degree of faith he put in the BJP. The BJP, you used an expression earlier, led him up the garden path. When he was appointed, notwithstanding the fact that he was a Mahadalit, the sharpest critique of him came from the BJP. The moment he began to speak against the party line, against Mr. Nitish Kumar, the BJP developed a newfound fondness for him, in particular his Mahadalit status. Subsequently, they were actually fishing in troubled waters and promising Mr. Manjhi of their support, but would not come out openly, so he was carrying the can for them. Then later on, just a day or two before the actual test of vote, they said that we will support him. But I am sure that something happened since between then and his resignation now for Mr. Manjhi to understand that the BJP does not wish to face the embarrassment of the failure of their politics, because they have not been able to break away any of the MLAs which are in the JDU combined. So they left Mr. Manjhi to hang out on his own, and without the BJP support, which he took for granted, he's put in his resignation even before the test. That is the truth of the story. It's a classic saga of unprincipled politics played by the BJP.
Let me put the opposite of that to you, Kumar Ketkar, and before I do, I'll point out to the audience that this is a particular story which is full of multiple versions. There's one possibility countered by another possibility. Now, one possibility is that Mr. Manjhi led down the BJP. The other possibility is that in fact he saved the BJP from the embarrassment of having to support him, because if they had supported him on the floor of the House, they'd be voting for a man who just weeks ago they were actually accusing of bad governance. More importantly, in moral terms, they'd be voting for a man who's seen by the world as a rebel. So do you think rather than being let down by the BJP, he's actually saved the BJP the embarrassment of supporting him?
Well, actually, Karan, neither Manjhi has saved the BJP nor BJP has saved Manjhi. Both of them have suffered miserably, and the so-called multiple interpretations is like in Sherlock Holmes' story. There are always multiple interpretations, but we know the criminal is only one, murderer or whoever it is. I think the game plan was completely worked out by Amit Shah and Narendra Modi much before, thinking that Bihar will be in their pocket. That did not happen. The game plan has boomeranged, and game plan has boomeranged on both of them, not only on BJP but also on Manjhi, and one of the reasons is fissures within the BJP. BJP was not clear, it was not speaking with one voice, and that is why the game plan has not worked. Let us not unnecessarily involve too many interpretations. The simple interpretation is game plan of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah did not work, and to save the situation, actually governor was supporting governor. They also had a theory of having assembly dissolved, but governor could not do it because there was no adequate constitutional support for that theory.
I come to the
and so
dissolution.
it would not, even on the governor's theory.
I'll come to the dissolution.
Not worked.
I'll come to the governor's role in not dissolving, refusing the request from the outgoing chief minister to dissolve in a moment's time. But first, Saibal Gupta, how much has the BJP's image suffered as a result of their association, both overt and covert, with Jatin Ram Manji? Because overtly yesterday they were guaranteeing support, and then in fact the man chickens out, and the BJP is now left having said they will support a man who didn't have the guts to face a vote of confidence on the floor of the House. Worse still, a man who's going to soon be recognized by people as a person who rebelled against his own party. So has the BJP suffered in the process?
No, I think as Mr. Pawan Verma mentioned earlier, that BJP was very critical of Majhi when he was installed by Nitish Kumar, and Nitish Kumar wanted to consolidate this Mahadalit constituency. But when Majhi started playing a different tune, he was more interested to create his own identity rather than the identity of JDU and other Janata Dal combined. So BJP started enjoying this situation, and BJP thought that they will try to co-opt some sort of a person who is speaking against
Quite right.
but
Mr. Gupta, the question is the BJP attempt to benefit from an association with Manji clearly hasn't worked. So is the BJP left with metaphorical egg on its face? Are they left embarrassed today?
No, I think they must be embarrassed because from the pronouncements that we are seeing, BJP is also quite surprised why Majhi has given resignation.
So you do believe they are embarrassed?
It's not very clear that whether he had given the resignation at the prompting of the BJP. So what was the script, we don't know, but certainly this is a big retreat for BJP in the current political scene of Bihar.
Absolutely.
Because, within a couple of months we are going to face election in Bihar.
Absolutely.
And in this backdrop, this is a very important, if they could win this election, possibly the entire contour would have been changed.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Nalini Singh and turn our focus briefly to the governor. The outgoing chief minister had asked for a dissolution. Now, he asked for a dissolution minutes before failing to actually face up to a vote of confidence. But earlier, this is a chief minister who has proved his confidence and his majority on the floor of the House several months ago. Was this governor right in refusing a dissolution because of the circumstances in which it was made? Or given that until he's formally defeated, he does have an earlier majority, was the governor wrong in refusing a dissolution? Because that's another critical question.
I think the governor was right in rejecting the demand for a dissolution, because I think that the governor realizes he's sitting in Patna and he's an astute and experienced person, and he realizes that there is an alternative which is also claiming, and I think you have to be totally deaf not to hear that. I would say that but the JDU led by Mr. Nitish Kumar, that faction brought the governor into disrepute by attributing all kinds of motives.
That's a different thing.
I'm saying something else. I'm saying the same way BJP has brought another Dalit, is talking about Mahadalit.
Yeah, but let's stick to the governor. Let's not go all over the place. Let's stick to one issue at a time. Let's stick to the governor for a moment, as yet a little longer, Verghese George. Nalini is absolutely right in saying that the governor in Bihar took the right decision, because there is another party led by JDU, led by Nitish Kumar, that claims they have a majority. He needs to give them a chance to prove it before he decides that this present assembly cannot form a government. But you know, like I know, Verghese George, that in 1979, when Charan Singh, in almost identical circumstances, chose to resign rather than face a vote of confidence in the Lok Sabha, he requested a dissolution. And in his case, he never proved his majority at all. And yet the president of the day, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, granted him that dissolution, despite the fact that there was Jagjeevan Ram, who many believed had a majority and could have formed a government. Was there ever a danger that the Bihar governor, rather than act the way he did, might have followed the Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy very controversial precedent?
See, the role of the governor in such a situation has been analyzed and further questioned in the Bhutta Singh judgment from Bihar itself in 2005, when Bhutta Singh decided to dissolve the Bihar Assembly abruptly. So the Supreme Court judgment has been clear that not only in the case when somebody else is taking claim, even in a case where nobody is taking claim, it is incumbent upon the governor to explore the possibility of an alternative government. And only when the governor is assured, or it is very clear that no formation of a government is possible in an existing assembly, that he could be recommending the dissolution of the assembly. I think after the Bhutta Singh judgment in 2005, I think the Bihar governor had no other way than the course that he is now proceeded on, which is to invite Mr. Nitish Kumar to form a government.
Very quickly, although that danger, Pavan Verma, no longer exists and the governor has done what everyone constitutionally would say is clearly the right thing, was there a period of time earlier today after Manji requested a dissolution that you were worried that in fact the controversial Jagjeevan Ram precedent of 1979 might come into play and this dissolution be granted? Were you ever worried of that situation?
Karan, are you very sure that Jitan Ram Manji recommended the dissolution of the House?
It's been said on all television channels that he did. Every single television channel has said he recommended it.
Our information is that he gave one letter to the governor, which was his own resignation, and he did not recommend the dissolution of the House. But just to take your question forward, even if he had, I believe the governor did exactly the right thing by inviting Mr. Nitish Kumar to prove his majority on the floor of the House after he takes oath, because that was the only option that was constitutionally valid, which was left to him.
Okay. And so, in fact, there was no point of time when you were worried that there might be, to use a colloquialism, some form of foul play. There was no point of time that you were worried about that.
No, certainly. No, if your question is more broad-based, I will tell you. It is not that we were worried. It is just that we were concerned as to what would be the next move adopted by Mr. Manji and the support of the BJP in trying to prevent Mr. Nitish Kumar from coming to power. Because the whole range had been played out.
Okay. I want to bring you in very quickly, Sambit Patra. This discussion about the governor, do you think that it is in fact treating the governor not as seriously as it ought to? Are we imputing possible ideas and thoughts to him that are unfair simply because Manji asked for a dissolution?
See, Karan, I could not get your question very rightly. The sound system is very bad with me.
I do apologize.
No, I'll tell you a few things, and I've been listening to everyone, but the summary that I draw from this whole debate is, number one, it is very amusing to learn that no one knows anything, but everyone has suddenly found a stick to beat BJP with. I mean, even right now, Karan, it was, I could almost hear that you did not know that a letter of dissolution was not written to the governor. Mr. Pavan Verma says that, and Mr. Pavan Verma was standing by the actions of governor, saying that whatever the governor did was...
Mr. Pavan Verma is going by what his sources have told him. Every single television channel today has said that Manji requested dissolution. I'm going by all the channels who I assume are right.
Thapar, and that's the reason as to why I say that no one's supposed to know what the complete truth is. Yet everyone is smiling because they have found a beating stick for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Secondly, I was hearing Mr. Kumar Ketkar saying that there are fissures egos in Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Ketkar, you could see the small fissure in Bharatiya Janata Party, but you could not see aghast JDU. You could not see the kind of division that JDU is having.
It's interesting, Sambit Patra, that you can't hear my questions, but you could hear the answers given by
I could hear
everyone else.
part of your question also. The sound system is really very bad. I'm not buying an alibi for all these things. The sound system is extremely bad. And thirdly, I also heard Mr. Ketkar saying that this is a game plan of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. Let me tell you, Mr. Ketkar, what you are calling a game plan of Mr. Modi and Shah, we see it as the ego of Mr. Nitish Kumar. Right from 2013, when Mr. Modi was in fact announced as the PM candidate of Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is what is the unraveling of his ego's game. And today we are discussing the issue as if Mr. Nitish Kumar has won a new mandate.
Well,
no.